Hello guys, it's Jonathan. Today we're doing the May Newsweek Weekly Blaze, of course the typical monthly Weekly Blaze. So this week, a few things to talk about here. Of course, the first part will be kind of the, I guess, prediction part of the news. Of course, mainly talking about the CoroCoro stuff for Bayonetta X. Then we'll probably get the reveals next. I'll probably like the next part of this Weekly Blaze is that because it's actually already the 13th. It's Monday the 13th, like around 1:30 a.m. So the actual reveal leaks should be pretty soon here, and the proper reveals will be like tomorrow. So yeah, not too much longer until we get that, which is pretty nice, honestly. So not one of those weeks we're starting the week very early, because sometimes news weeks will be like the end of the week, you know. But yeah. As far as my predictions for now, though, I don't know what the Bale will be called. I assume probably a new motif. Maybe it could be based on like some of the Hasbro exclusive stuff we've seen. I know like the like Shinobi Shadow has like a similar thing, so maybe something related to that. We'll have to wait and see though, but probably a new motif. It looks like an attack type to me. It has like three sides, but then it's kind of like these extra points, almost make it six-sided in a sense. But yeah, still consider it three-sided though. Has somewhat of a similar drawn sword shape. I'm wondering if this is Common Y's bake. There's that character we've seen. It looks like Common X with the Y mask, so maybe that person. We'll see. Also, could this be like the new Pendragon replacement character? Potentially, that'd be kind of interesting. And hopefully it is, because then maybe we'll get like the Pendragon stuff in July, like the other two, like a new Cobalt and then the one girl's Bay. That'd be pretty nice. So yeah, we'll see. But don't know if that'll happen. But for now, yeah, it looks like an attack type. I assume this will probably have a reused Ratchet. We've gotten a lot of new Ratchets recently. Maybe it'll do like a new 70 Ratchet or something. I don't know, like a 170, but probably not. Or maybe even like a new Ratchet entirely, like a 660 or something. That'd be cool. My prediction here, I think it's just going to be 360. Maybe 370, but I'm saying 360 for the Ratchet. As far as a bit goes, genuinely have zero idea what they'll do here, because again, assuming it's an attack type, kind of drawn sword, like, I don't know what they would actually do for a bit here. It would be... I don't imagine it'll be a rubber flat. That seems very, very odd. Almost wondering if it's going to be some kind of Excel variant, potentially. That could happen. Or maybe even like a metal flat could be as well. But yeah, for bit, I'm pretty unsure. Honestly, like the prediction part of this video is kind of weak because I'm like very unsure what they're gonna do here. Because I do think it's kind of meant to almost mirror drawn sword in a sense. I could be completely wrong here, but yeah, I mean it's a prediction. So yeah, what else can I say? So yeah, bit, I just think it'll be new, but nothing too crazy. I think it'll have 360 as a ratchet, potentially 370. That's less likely in my opinion. Then yeah, the blade will just be an attack blade, and it'll be Common Wise Bay. Let's see how wrong I am. But yeah, aside of that, that's my prediction. So yeah, that's kind of all for the predictions. I do have other stuff to talk about in this video though, so I will. This will actually probably be a long weekly blaze because aside from that, I also have to go over the bay itself once we get the reveals, which will probably again be the next clip. Also, as it is a weekly blaze like a news week, I usually give my own news, so I will kind of finalize my May videos and then well, for the rest of May, then also give kind of a look at what I'm going to be doing for June, and then after that, I also have one last thing in this video, which will actually be, because I'm rewatching an anime right now, because I do talk about anime every once in a while, but yeah. I'm rewatching the Monogatari series, and I want to talk about that series, because I watched it like 5 years ago. I think I talked about it in Weekly Blaze back then as well. But, yeah, I like the series a lot. Want to talk about it. This is a little bit of a preview. I might be doing a Monogatari video here pretty soon. We'll talk about that later. I actually need to finalize my May schedule. May's in a weird month, and then June. How to make June? June's probably going to be a fairly light month, if I'm being honest. I don't see many videos for June happening, like maybe 6 or 7. But, oh god, July. We'll talk about that next month. July is going to be an experience of a month because it's my 15-year YouTube anniversary. I want to make it cool, so I actually I don't know if there's going to be a lot of July videos in all honesty, but there's going to be a lot of big videos to say the least. I usually try to keep like bigger videos down to like 2 a month at most. Even then, like that could be a lot, you know. Going further than that's not great, but there's going to be at least 4 big videos in July. 2 of which are already a bit of a challenge. One of them shouldn't be too bad, but then there's the other one, that's going to be a problem. There might even be a 5th big video, but I might save that one. That one doesn't matter as much, it just depends. But yeah, July is going to be an interesting month, because then there's also like the other videos I do that I usually do, and then I'll probably keep those to a minimum though. Probably do like the Beyblade unboxings and discussion, like the typical ones I do in like Weekly Blaze or whatever. So yeah, July is going to be a month, but yeah, June probably later for videos, May as well. But yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, for now, I guess that was like my preview for that. I'll have to make that and then come back later in the week for that, and then probably the last clip of the week will be the Monogatari stuff. But yeah, for now, I gave my very, very vague predictions for the June Bay. Let's see what they do. I don't know if there's any leaks yet. I actually haven't checked. I was busy watching Monogatari for like 4 hours straight. So if there's leaks, I have not seen them. I will probably go look at that now, I guess. But next time I record will be, well, assuming the Bay gets leaked, I'll talk about it then. And then I might talk about it a little bit more after the official images if there's something new. If not, let's go into the news. But yeah, for now, let me just go ahead and check and see what happens with that. And yeah, I'll come back once I actually know more about the Bay. So yeah. Alright, it's now Wednesday at like 2 a.m. We got all the news finally. We'll be doing the news video tomorrow, though I don't feel up to it today, so Weekly Blazes are more chill, so I don't really care too much, but I actually didn't think we were gonna get news for a while. I thought they were gonna like skip this month again or whatever, but no, they didn't, so great. I actually got quite a bit of news, so the Black and Green Hells chain has been confirmed to release pretty soon here. Another Rare Bay Get Battle Bay. At least had a few days where I had all of them, so that was nice. And then let's see what else is there. Oh yeah, I think it's the next Korokoro has a gift, like the Phoenix Feather type of deal, where it just comes with it. It's a drawn sword blade, but with the color scheme of Cobalt Drake, so it'll be painted and everything, which is pretty cool. Probably pick that up on my next Japan order. Not gonna buy that from resellers because it'll probably just be like $20+. I'm not paying that. From Japan, it'll be probably $5 or less, so I'll grab it then. As far as the 2 more important things go, first up, I think it's later in the year. There's a game. I think it's called Beyblade X Zone. People were saying it was for the Xbox. No, it was obviously not an Xbox exclusive. Like, people are saying it because of the X or whatever, and like the One, but like, well, first the Xbox One, there's not even the current Xbox, but also, why would a Beyblade game be an Xbox exclusive? That wasn't going to happen, so I heard something about it being on Steam, potentially, but the picture, so they showed Switch, which I'd assume what it's going to be on. But there's also apparently the Switch version has a unique bay with it, which is called Shinobi Knife, and I believe it comes with 460 flat Cobalt Drake parts, I think. Which is actually Hasbro bay, so they're kind of reverse engineering from Hasbro to Takara now, which is pretty cool actually. It's painted and everything. I'll have to pick this one up. Be pretty cool to have. So yeah, I guess we'll be doing that. That's interesting. Wonder if the other ones will go and get reverse engineered. I might have said it initially, like a couple months ago, but I said maybe they'll do something where like random boosters, there'll be like a secondary prize or something. They could do that. But yeah, Still pretty cool nonetheless. And then the main bit of news, the June booster, which again, I didn't even think we were getting this month for a little bit because we didn't even get a single leak until about 6 hours before the news dropped, which was crazy to me. Usually, Babel X stuff's been dropping like 2 days early, or at least like a day early, like normal, like with bursts and stuff. But sometimes even 2 days early, even earlier sometimes. But no, barely even got to look at it. Actually, the only reason we got to look at it a few hours early was because it was on the cover, but it was like really small. We didn't get the a good look at it till it actually dropped. So maybe they did something with the leaks. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, the June booster, it's called Weiss Tiger 360 Unite. So this is kind of a weird one. I both like and don't like this bay. But I mean, I don't know. It's just it's a weird bay. I don't like it because it just feels very bland to me. Like it's a three, like, I mean, kind of a three-sided bay. It is a three-sided bay, but like the blades and stuff, it's like kind of like it technically has 9 blades. There's like a whole thing about like, oh, this is like an attack blade, a stamina blade, and a defense blade, which no, but sure, okay, that's the whole marketing thing, I guess. Like this is only going to be used for attack. Like the shape of it's an attack bay, but they're calling it a balance type. So yeah. Anyway, 360 reused ratchet, also a very old ratchet. Would I wish they would just use 960, or why not 960? It would have made so much more sense to use 960 right here. Like you literally are talking about 3 blades on 3 sides. Why that's 9? Why not use 9 blades? Why? Or why not use 960? I mean, like if you're gonna reuse a ratchet, at least do that. Like getting 360 again, come on. It's an old part. We already got it reused on Shark Edge. Like, do something else there. And if we're counting it as well, I mean, technically Phoenix Feather, like the recommended combo is with 360 as well. So, yeah, another 360 bay. Not really hyped about that. Also, Unite. This bit, come on. It's basically the shape of taper, but with like a point gimmick. It's just a mix of point and taper in the exact way you'd expect it to be. Again, it's just one of those bits. It's more of a variant bit. We have very, very few unique bits in Babel X so far. You're doing pretty well, though, so I guess it's not as big of a deal since we did have a lot of unique ones, or at least fairly interesting ones in a row. I'd say probably 5. Gear Needle was like the last one that was weird, but that one, it was weird, though, so like, I don't hate that one as much, but it was also really stupid. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, Excel, kind of the basic, 16 gear thing, that's fine. Hexo is unique. Disc Ball, I mean, it's only a variant, but like it has a disc. It's like pretty, like, dynamic, I would say. Like, it stands out. So I don't hate that one. Quake is Quake, it's new, for sure. And then, Gear Needle, not Gear Needle, Metal Needle. Metal Needle, I mean, it's the first time we've had different materials in a base, so like, or for a bit, so I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting. And now we have to go back to this. And yeah, it's not great. So you see my problem is probably just like, the whole thing also is like, oh, gear, or Unite, it can be like, it has like a whole counter thing, like defense. It can spin normally like a stand type, or, can go on the side and go on attack. It's, again, just marketing. It's a literally just point, but slightly different. But hey, I guess that means you could use point, gear point, and Unite in a deck now, so there's that. Anyway, yeah, it's not great. You could probably see my problem with parts. It's like an attack blade that's probably not going to be that good of an attack blade because it's trying to be a balanced blade while also not really being a balanced blade because it just doesn't look like one. Really old reused ratchet, kind of a boring bit. Part-wise, I don't like this thing. However, appearance-wise, has like this kind of like white on the top. Okay, appearance-wise, it just looks good. Like the ratchet has kind of like a black and white thing going on. There's a lot of white on the blade for plastic. The bit, I think it's kind of a, I don't know what color I'd consider this. Like not maroon. It's almost like a purple, like a faded, dark purple. But I don't know why. Where am I going with this? I don't have the thing in front of me right now, by the way, so I don't know what it looks like. Well, I know what it looks like, but I don't have the visual. So it's kind of like a purplish, reddish color, kind of on the oh God, magenta, like a dark magenta, maybe something. That's the closest I'm getting for this explanation. I'll get it right for the actual discussion, but it's nice. I really, really like the color scheme, and even though I don't like 360 and Unite as parts, like they look normal. And the blade itself, okay, the blade does look kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. So you know what? It's cool in that regard. So for me personally, I'll probably actually like this bay because I mean, there's bays like Death Solomon from Burst, which is part-wise abysmal, but it's actually one of my favorite sparking bays because it just looks really nice. And I think this might be one of those situations where yeah, the parts are questionable at best, but it just looks really good. And if I once I get it and I see it, I might have that same conclusion, which is fine for me. But yeah, still kind of boring. Also, one last thing to say: this is definitely Shigeru's bay, Malty's sister. It's her bay. Anyone who says otherwise is just blatantly wrong at this point. Is my phone vibrating or something? No? Okay, interesting. I don't think so anyway. Sorry, I want to check that. So, a quick like random tangent here. So, I turned off my phone's vibration, which is why I was confused. But before I turned it off, it would randomly just like vibrate once. I don't know why. It just did. So I had to turn it off. And I swear, I don't know, maybe it just like hit my leg weirdly or something. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to check to make sure there wasn't like some kind of notification that it missed, because it also does that sometimes too. So, yeah, anyway, it's Shigeru's Bay. I have some actual evidence for this. There's like one counter argument that people were saying, but like, no. If it isn't Shigeru's Bay, I don't think that's the reason. But like it is. Like I feel like the clues here are too obvious. There's two main ones here, and then also just two extra kind of supporting arguments to this. The two main reasons. First up, the theming of every bay is based on something like a weapon, like drawn sword or hell scythe, sword and scythe. Also, sometimes like a physical attribute, like a rhino horn or a phoenix wing, those work as well. Or even something a little bit more abstract, but something you can kind of get like an ability out of, like Wyvern Gale, like, Gale Wind. It's not a weapon, but I can kind of see where that like the theming would come from in relation to one, right? Or even like Shinobi Shadow, I think, shadows, you could use that as like an ability, so makes sense. The only outlier to this so far has been Cobalt Drake. Cobalt, that is not a weapon. So, yeah, it's a color. And Weiss Tiger. Weiss, that is white in German. White is not a weapon or anything like that. So it's a color theme, like Cobalt Drake, okay? Now you could argue maybe it's just like an odd occurrence. Well, okay, second thing. The actual setup of the names, you have. It always goes motif, theme. Again, drawn sword, hell scythe, wizard arrow, knight shield. The motif comes first in the names, and then the theme. Second, sword, scythe, whatever. At least with Takatomi base. I know Hasbro's different, but I'm talking about Takatomi base, right? So that makes sense. However, there was one outlier to this, Cobalt Drake, which we kind of all just, left alone, just like, okay, it's an oddity, whatever. Because Cobalt Drake, the theme comes first, the color, and then Drake is second. It's afterwards. The motif is second instead of first. Almost closer to Hasbro setup. And Weiss Tiger, same thing. So it has both the color thing going on and like the name structure going on there. Like like there has to be a correlation there. Like why would they make it like that for no reason. Especially, like, you could maybe argue one of them being weird. I mean, I think the name thing is pretty concrete, but, like, if it was just Weiss, then I might not say anything if it was, like, Tiger Weiss, but, no, the reverse name plus that, like, nah, they have to be related in some way. And, yeah. Now, the other two kind of supporting pieces of evidence here. First up, Shigeru, she stated she only uses balance types. This is a balance type. It's kind of a weird balance type, but it's a balance type, so there's that. And it's not as good of evidence, but she also did opt to use Hell Scythe, which, yeah, it's probably like the only one she would have used, but I mean, it's like it has taper. I mean, it's kind of close to Unite in that sense. Okay, I'm reaching with that one, but no, she does use balance types, and this is a balance type. But the other big piece of evidence, this is just a June booster. It's just kind of a product that exists. It's just like a random one-off product. It's not really anything substantial, like like a July starter, or like what's another one, like an October starter, like a December starter, even like a March booster starter or whatever. Like, it's not one of these months where you'd expect a significant release. And again, it's also a booster, signifying that it probably shouldn't be taken as a significant release. And the part selection also kind of points to that, because again, it has a reused ratchet. It's not entirely a new bay. With all that in mind, why would they suddenly opt to switch up the naming scheme entirely on this bay that doesn't really seem to be all that important? Unless it's related to something that is. That, of course, being, Pendragon, the big team with, Chrome on it and stuff. So, and, where X came from. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty clear. But also, we got a preview of the July starter and what that bay is. And, well, it does look like an attack type to me. Also has, well, unfortunately, no painted metal, but it seems like the blue plastic, the plastic underneath is blue. The gear chip is red, so red and blue, okay. That's a specific color scheme. Also, kind of looks four-sided to me, and, it almost looks like it might be a left spin bay. It's going to be a new Drake, for sure. Like, it's definitely a new Drake, and again, this being Shigeru's bay, it just makes that, like, you can't release a bay like this. It just seems exactly like something Shigeru would have, and then release a Drake and it not have the former being Shigeru's bay. It wouldn't make any sense. This is Shigeru's bay, for sure. So, yeah. And yeah, next month, I guess not next month. Well, I guess next month for reveals will probably be the new Drake, probably our first left spin. And this was a pretty common theory that, Cobalt Drake was kind of more a prototype in a sense for Chrome's bay. It wasn't really like his main bay. Or not even that it has to not be his main bay. It could have been his main bay, but it was like, when he actually gets to battle, we're going to see a new bay. Like, that was just going to be like a one-off thing where he battles with Cobalt Drake, which seems like it's going to be. So, looks like, his bay will be here, and it'll be left spin. Again, that's a very common thing, that, the next Drake was going to be left spin, so... Seems pretty likely at this point that it's that, and again, if it's Shigeru's bay, then we already know who it is, so... Yeah, that's my whole thing about that, so... We'll probably present that in the discussion as well. Might try to condense it down a little bit, though, because that took a while to explain. Is that all the news? I cover, let's see, the Hell's Chain, Drawn Sword, Shinobi Knife, Weiss Tiger, New Drake, yeah, okay, that's everything. Oh yeah, there's also, I'm not going to cover this in my discussion, there's also like the Hasbro Transformers bays, yeah, those exist, I don't really care. They're $25 per 2-pack, which is funny. Yeah, I don't care enough to go into those. They just exist. So yeah, I think that's all for today. Again, probably the next day or two, I will go through my schedule for the YouTube stuff, and outside of that, I want to talk about Monogatari 3, like in the last day of this weekly plays, because that's when I'll be finishing it probably. So Yeah, I think that's all for today, though. We'll record the discussion tomorrow. That'll go the morning of the 16th. So yeah, that'll be something, I guess. And I guess that'll even be out before this Weekly Blaze. I don't know why I always say it like that. So yeah, whatever. Alright, it is now Thursday at around 10 p.m. I'm gonna talk about my scheduling stuff today. So yeah, I did make my June schedule finally. That'll be. It's actually not that interesting, honestly. It's a pretty short schedule. I think I have 9 videos planned for next month, maybe 10. It depends. I need to actually check that. We'll see. I don't know when a certain. I could check that as I talk, honestly. So. Yeah, basically, I'm just gonna say right now Hasbro Beyblade X is kind of going to save me. Like, Hasbro saving my ass. I can't believe it. For the first time in over a decade, Hasbro's actually gonna be like a pretty, important part of anything. Like, yeah, I'm actually gonna get Hasbro stuff. Crazy to think about. Let me find this release date real quick here. Was there just not a release date put here? I'm trying to look for Weiss Tiger's release date. That's my problem right now. I don't know when Weiss Tiger comes out. I have to look it up. Okay. So yeah, Weiss Tiger. If I can get it in time, I'll put it up in June. But if not, probably like early July or something. I mean, it's like close enough, I guess. But I'd rather. I mean, if I can get it next month, that'd be great. But yeah, I need to check. Release. Oh, June 15th. Okay, yeah, June 15th. Okay, Weiss Tiger should be next month. Cool. Unless something goes horribly wrong. But yeah, for Beyblade videos, that is one of them. But I have 6 others. Okay. So, yeah. The only other video that's not Hasbro related. Oh, wait, actually, before we get to June, actually, I should mention May. I mentioned potentially doing a Monogatari video. I'm not doing that this month. Instead, because Shinobi Shadow comes out like tomorrow, apparently in Japan. I thought it was a week later for some reason. So, because it's sooner, I'm gonna get it. I should be able to get it by the end of May. That'll be the last May video, and then also I have to do the Bottleman theory video, the Godcap theory, like with the production issues and stuff. That'll be probably early 20s of May, like 20th, like the 22nd probably. And then Shinobi Shadow will probably be like, I don't know, 28th or something. And that'll be it for May. I know it's not a crazy schedule. But yeah, May. I said May and June were probably going to be kind of lacking, and yeah, they are. I should probably make a post about that, honestly. But anyway, so for June, probably Weiss Tiger, and then also the Newsweek, like the news stuff for the new Drake and stuff. That'll be like 16th probably for June, and then yeah, that's like the main thing for Takutomi. The other 5 videos are all Hasbro videos, which again I did not expect, but yeah. If it wasn't for that, I'd only have 4 videos next month. Well, I guess 5 with Weiss Tiger, but the problem is I like to do a minimum of 5 videos, excluding Weekly Blazes, so I'd have to come up with anything else, I guess. So, yeah, I don't want to do like a minimum, so yeah, Hasbro's actually helping us here. So as far as those other 5 videos go, 4 of them are just unboxings. 2 of them will be the boosters. I believe it's Terra Talon and Samurai Steel. I believe those are the 2. Also the 2-pack, the Shark Edge, and Shinobi Knife 2-pack. I think that's what's in the 2-pack. And of course the Big South, Mammoth Tusk, and the Drawn Dagger as well. So yeah. And then the last video will be Hasbro Beyblade X First Impressions. Just a first impressions video on Hasbro. Mostly going to be talking about the exclusives, but yeah. Hasbro's going to be coming in big next month, I'm just saying. So, very, very important. Yeah. Aside from Beyblade, also we'll be doing a Bottleman video next month. Ranking every Bottleman. This is not a competitive ranking or whatever, it's just me personally talking about how much I like each one. And I'm going through every single Bottleman, so that'll be something. That's my big video for next month, I guess. Then, also a special anime video, Monogatari series Watch Order. That'll be for next month. And lastly, Weekly Blaze, I believe, I put the date here. I don't know if this is the right date, but I'm going based on 2019 because I believe June 2019 and June 2024 should match up because there's 2 leap years in between. So I believe it's the same. Well, it is the same, but I believe those were the dates I had for Weekly Blazes back then, so it should be the same. Yes, I'm referencing weeks based on old Weekly Blazes. The series has been going on a long time. Actually, in October, we'll be celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Weekly Blaze. That is a thing that's going to happen, so yeah. Anyway, back on what I was saying, though. Yeah, because based on the dates, actually, fun fact, before we get back to that, May 16th, it's a Thursday, it was in 2019 as well, which tonight would actually be my last school night of a high school, 5 years ago. So yeah, tomorrow would have been my final day of high school. Yeah, tomorrow, yeah, down to the day and everything. So yeah, 5 years ago today, or 5 years ago from tomorrow, yep, final day of high school. It's already been half a decade. That is not great to know. Anyway, back to the Weekly Blaze. Yeah, I believe the dates for the June one is going to be the 9th to the 15th. June News Week, so that'll be a big one. I'm actually very glad that it's going to be starting earlier because Drake is our first Left Spin X Bay, it seems. That's going to be something I could see getting leaked early, like 11th or 12th, so I am glad it is going to be an earlier Weekly Blaze, so I will have time to, start that. Kind of like the night of the 8th / morning of the 9th, then I will start the Weekly Blaze then to give my theories or whatever, and then we'll cycle back around within a couple days probably to get the actual news, and then also I will have the video news. I'll give you guys any updates on June videos, but also the July schedule with all of the big videos I'm doing. July is probably also, again, not going to be a month. I think I mentioned this already, but it's not going to be a month where there's a ton of videos. Probably closer to May and June. However, the videos I'm putting out themselves will actually be a lot bigger. Those are something. I have to, and part of the reason I'm not doing as much in May and June is because I have to do, I think I already mentioned the main 4 videos I'm doing. But yeah, there's the Bottleman video, the kind of going over every Bottleman, was Bottleman good, the whole thing, I have to go over all of it. I mean, the other 3 videos I did based on the subject were also pretty time intensive, not crazy, but still. This will probably be those, maybe a little bit more difficult. Also, reimagining Waylon Burst, parts 13 and 14. Part 13 is massive, because I'm going over every single Hasbro Bay. Hasbro exclusive, I have to remake all of those. That's gonna suck. Yeah, that's not gonna be fun, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna do it. And also, part 14 is basically me making up my own motifs. I have ideas for that, but I haven't written anything out yet, so that's fun. And then the other thing right now, which is it's gonna be the hardest one, is the Bakugan Armors video. That will be. I want to edit it like the Monogatari series, which is going to be difficult, and then also, recording it. I want to make it actually good. So that video is going to take me a while. I should probably get to recording that video, the video part of it, fairly soon, probably before the month is over, and then I'll have June to figure out reimagining, and then, honestly, the Ballin video I could probably just figure out in July, but, And also, of course, a special 15-year anniversary, and then, yeah, I'll have to figure out the rest of the schedules and get that all situated and whatnot. I might give dates as well to when those videos will be out, because I do want to have them on certain days. But for now, yeah, that's everything, I think, so that's the rest of the May stuff, the June schedule, and I guess a little bit of a preview of July. And I think that's everything for this week, aside from the Monogatari stuff I want to talk about. That'll be next clip in a couple hours, so I'm going to go watch the rest of the Owari Monogatari second season, and finish that up. I have 5 episodes to go, and then tomorrow I'll watch Zoko Owari Monogatari, and then I'll come back after that to this video and talk about it. Oh, it's not too long of a discussion. I could see myself going on about that series for hours. I won't, but still. Should I do Monogatari videos on occasion? I like the series a lot. I might, honestly. We'll see. Anyway, that's all for today, though. So, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow to end off the Weekly Blaze with all of the Monogatari stuff I want to talk about. So, yeah. Alright, it is now. It's actually Sunday, technically, like 1:30 a.m. So, yeah, we're recording this one a little bit later than intended, but yesterday I watched Zoku Owari Monogatari, and I finished later than I thought I would. Meant to start watching it at like 10. That didn't happen. I didn't start till after midnight. I didn't finish till like after 3, so. Yeah, it was later than I wanted it to be. Wasn't planning on you know, recording after that. I mean, it was just late at that point, you know. Anyway, Monogatari. All right, well, I'm just gonna run through all of them just because, just talk about each one. I'll try to keep these fairly quick. It's not like a topic most people are probably interested in anyway. I just want to talk about it just because. First up, Bakemonogatari. I feel like Bakemonogatari is kind of like a problem because it is really good, but at the same time, I do find it to be like one of the weaker parts of the series. And it's definitely more formulaic than the other parts, and I feel like it's unfortunate because a lot of people watch this and are like, oh, I don't know how to feel about this one, so I'm not going to keep watching. It's like, no, trust me. First season's just weird. I don't. Like, it's not bad, but first season, I feel like there's two of the main parts that are just like, kind of, not selling itself as well. And don't get me wrong, they're still really good. It's just that I know the later stuff's even better. So people don't stick with it. And even though it's really good, maybe they just think it's too formulaic or just whatever. There's definitely some weird stuff in Monogatari, which I'm not gonna like get into, but yeah, it's some weird stuff here and there. But like, if people don't like it because of that, then yeah, fair enough. But like, some people are like, oh well, I just think something like Bunny Girl Senpai is better, which again, fair enough. But the whole thing of that show is kind of doing the Bakemonogatari thing, like a decade after Bakemonogatari did it. So I understand why it might seem more polished, but Monogatari goes in a completely different direction. But yeah, as far as the arcs here go, I feel like they were pretty good. Hitagi Crab's like a good introduction arc. That was fun. My, that one's actually a little bit better than Hitagi Crab. I found it like more interesting. Surga Monkey's really good. Surga Monkey is a really, really good arc for sure. Probably the best of the Bakemonogatari arcs. It just feels like, narratively just was structured the best and doesn't overstay its welcome, which is important to note. After that, there's Nadeko Snake. This one's weird because it's the worst arc in Monogatari. It's not bad, it's just like, kind of there. The character, she's like the only one who doesn't have like any kind of issues. It's just like, oh, she's the victim, like purely just a victim of this issue. But that plays into a later arc, which is like it was really well done in that way. So her arc kind of needed to be bland, but it doesn't really make the arc better. And then we finish with Tsubasa Cat. This one I think could have been the best arc, but it's like long. Like the other arcs are all 2 or 3 episodes. This one's 5 episodes, which isn't bad. But like the first episode, I feel like should have been part of a later arc. Specifically Neko Monogatari Kuro / Tsubasa Family. They should have been there, in my opinion. I think that should have just stuck there narratively. Episode after that's like completely unrelated to that character, and it jumps to a different thing. But that thing kind of makes sense to why it's there. But then you have like the 3 main episodes of the arc, which I like. I like quite a bit. It's probably on par with Surga Monkey, but I feel like it's just kind of a weird arc in that sense. Where I still like it a lot, but it's not going to quite beat out Surga Monkey for me. And all of these arcs, in my opinion, just get overshadowed eventually anyway. These are all setup arcs in my eyes. Then we go on to Kizumonogatari, which Kizumonogatari covers the Koime Vamp arc, and this is like the one thing I gotta say this now. Never watch Kizumonogatari later, just don't. Watch it second. Anyway, I gotta make the Monogatari watch order video, because I gotta explain that. Anyway. 3 movies. The first movie is just really good. Again, a lot of setup, for the rest of the movies, but, it's really good. I enjoy it. The second movie is like a gauntlet of like enemies, basically, which is cool. I like it. And I actually think it could have been a little bit better, but I feel like the final fight just happened a little bit too quickly. both the setup and the fight itself. I don't know. I feel like that part was a little bit, and it feels like maybe they ran out of time on this movie and like had to wrap it up a little bit quicker than they wanted to. It's not like horrible. It's like maybe a couple minutes too short, but still it does feel a little bit too short. Third movie, really interesting. The middle part does drag on for a little while. Again, only a couple minutes, but I wish maybe you could repurpose those extra couple minutes where the movie felt like it started to drag a little bit and then put that into the second movie. Although it doesn't last too long though, because after that you get into like a really, really good part. And it resolves, like the resolution of the movie is just great as well. But yeah, Kizumonogatari is like really, really good. It's just like those couple nitpicks there, which like, it's upsetting though, because if they just repurpose that time where it drags a little bit into the part that I think needed a little bit more time, this could have been like the best movie trilogy, well, anime movie trilogy. And then after that, you get to Nisei Monogatari, which get the Car and B arc. That arc is kind of too long. I feel like there's a lot of episodes where just not a lot happens. They're not bad. They're still interesting, but yeah, not as much happens earlier on. And then it gets good. Some resolutions to some things with certain characters. Certain characters get introduced. It's a good time. I actually like this arc a lot. I just wish maybe it could have been shortened a little bit because some of the stuff wasn't as necessary. Tsukiki Phoenix is a weird arc because this one, the first half, you have the infamous toothbrush scene. That probably didn't need to exist, I'm not gonna lie, or at least shorten that a little bit. Then there's like also just some setup. Yeah, like that's like the first two episodes, and the second, like the latter two episodes, because it's 4 episodes long, are actually really, really good. So Nisei Monogatari, also this is like this is like the most ecchi part, and I feel like if people get past Bake, they get to Nisei and they're like, wait, what is this? And they stop there. Just get to second season. Make it to second season, you'll have a good time. Trust me. But yeah, I don't know. I think Nisei, it feels like some of the stuff probably wasn't as necessary to spend as much screen time with, but like other things were really, really good. Like when it's on, which I think is most of the time, it's a great part of the series. But like you got the edgy stuff that gets a little bit overbearing, and just some other random stuff that probably didn't need as much screen time. Yeah, it's still really good though, for sure. I actually prefer it to Bake, which is probably a hot take. Then we get to the final part of first season, which is Nekomonogatari Kuro, which covers the Tsubasa family arc. I already talked about this one a little bit when I was talking about Tsubasa Cat. This arc, it's interesting, gives more context to the character it's referring to, Hanakawa, which I like, but it's mostly a setup arc, which is fine, but the arc itself, it's there. It's mostly just a setup arc, though. But hey, it at least covers these events that we kind of were missing context from. So now you have all the context to kind of lead up to that next point, which is good. Also, it was kind of genius, because Monogatari is not a chronological series. It doesn't go in chronological order, but you start with Bakemonogatari. Then Kizumonogatari is like the origin story, but then there's some events that were referenced, like the Golden Week events that were referenced that we don't get to yet. But then we jump forward with Nisei Monogatari, which is after Bakemonogatari. Then we go back with Nekomonogatari Kuro, which is between Kizu and Bake. And the ending of Nekomonogatari Kuro actually leads into the start of Bake, which is really cool. But also the narrative itself and like what it was doing builds up to the start of second season, which it was genius because it kind of works either way. Then we get to Monogatari series second season. Now most of second season, barring one series, was just put into Monogatari series second season. Like that's the anime's name. So yeah, 5 of them were just thrown into this like compilation thing, I guess. And so instead of just having 5 separate ones, they just went all in with that. But I'll still just reference the novel names anyway, just because. Anyway, first up here, we got Nekomonogatari Shiro, so you could probably see where that comes from. Yeah, this covers Tsubasa Tiger. This is kind of the ending of the main part of Hanakawa's arc, which is great. This is such a, like, this blows everything before out of the water. Although Kizumonogatari with Koyomi Vamp was, like, really, really good as well, but this one, it's better than that, and yeah, it blows everything else out of the water before it. Then there's Kabuki Monogatari with Mayo Jiangshi, which is really interesting. Kind of a cool look at the butterfly effect, which is always interesting to see. Like this arc quite a bit. Then after this is kind of weird. So this, I personally stopped here and went to Hana Monogatari, which is part of second season, but it's the one part that's not in the anime second season. title-wise. Like, this is confusing, I know, but still. This covers the Surga Devil arc, and this, in the novels, this is where it was placed, which is why I stopped here to get to it. Because I think novel order is the correct order, which I'll talk about a little bit more after I talk about all these things. But yeah, Surga Devil, really interesting arc. Finishes Conver's story, which kind of comes a lot later, which is weird, but it's interesting. Also, certain characters appear here, which technically spoils certain things that happen later in the story, but I think that was kind of the point. I'm not sure about that anyway. But yeah, I do think it kind of does spoil some stuff, which is funny. But like, again, I think that's the point. I don't think you're meant to be worrying about certain things that are happening in those arcs that are coming later. I think you're just meant to understand the narrative behind it. You're not supposed to worry about that other stuff, which, again, I'm just keeping this very vague, but like, if you watch it, you probably know what I'm talking about. Why? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not talking like people are watching this. I might make a couple Monogatari videos, honestly, but we'll see. Yeah, this to me was the intended way to watch it. Anyway, then you go back to second season, which, again, in terms of second season as a concept, we're still in. You know, Hana Monogatari is part of that, but the anime itself, the title second season, we go back to. That gets us to Otori Monogatari with Nadeko Medusa, and this arc, it's so good. Uses perspective very well. Also, like the twist, like it's just such a fascinating arc, and it's like, okay, now I see why Nadeko Snake was the way it was. Yeah, this makes sense. Then we go to Oni Monogatari with Shinobu Time, very good arc for sure. Interesting to get some backstory on some stuff, and also just kind of the overall kind of story of this arc, the ending. You know, it's really good for sure. And then we get to Koi Monogatari, Hitagi End, my favorite arc in Monogatari. This arc is just great. This also finishes off second season, but yeah. Really goes all in with like some of the events that we saw like in Nadeko Medusa, and really finishes those up. You also get like another perspective shift to one of those like you have basically a battle between Kaiki and Nadeko, which Nadeko, very interesting character psychologically. Kaiki, also a very interesting character psychologically, probably two of the most. Like, these are both two of like the top 5 most interesting characters in terms of like how they think and what they do. I'd say like the only characters I would say compare to them in that regard are probably like Oshino, well, Oshino Meme, Ogi, and probably Guy and Izuku. Probably those like are my top 5. And I'd say Nadeko and Kaiki could genuinely be top 2, maybe. Yeah, I feel like Ogi, once you know more about Ogi, I feel like they're still like they're still top 5 easily, but I don't think I'd put them above Nadeko or Kaiki. And I wouldn't put Oshino in there either, above them. Gain, she might be. She's like the only one that might beat these two out. Or at least one of them, I don't know. I have to think about it, but yeah. They're probably top 3, I would say. I don't know what order, but still, like you have two of these like very interesting characters, one of which you already had their perspective, and now you kind of go against them with another perspective, and they're both very interesting. It's just such a good arc. Then after that, you get to final season. We start that with Tsuki Monogatari, and kind of goes back to being a little bit more normal-ish, which is fine. And it's a really good arc. It's kind of like the whole like human versus monster archetype, which generally it's overdone, but they did it in a way here that's like not overdone. It's a fresh perspective on the matter, which is really nice. Then there's Koyami Monogatari. There's like 12 like mini arcs here. It's like an anthology thing. People say to like skip this one sometimes. Don't, or just watch like the final 2 episodes. Again, don't watch the whole thing. Episodes 11 and 12 here. I mean, also it's 12 episodes, but like each episode's like half the length of normal. I know the thing says it's like averaging 14 minutes. It doesn't. If you exclude openings and endings and stuff, they're like 8 to 11 minutes usually. Like they're really short. Yeah, like episode 11 and 12, like, well, episode 12 in particular is like, yeah, it's very important. And episode 11 does lead into that, so you need the context to understand it. So, yeah, these two episodes are like the most important, but like episodes 4, 5, 8, and 10 all add context to previous events or foreshadow future events. So, they're all, I would say, important to watch. And then because you're already watching 6 episodes, I think you kind of need to understand Koyomi Monogatari itself, which I'd say you need to watch episodes 1 and 2. At that point, you're only missing 4 episodes. Like, okay, episode 9 you don't want to miss. I mean, it's not important, but it's just a good episode, just very enjoyable. Episode 3 is also interesting enough. Episode 6 and 7 aren't the most interesting in my opinion, but at the same time, like, it's like not even a half hour. Just watch them. It should be watched. Also, yeah, the order. A lot of people say to watch Koyomi Monogatari between the Owari seasons. Don't. It's not like I hate the argument because people are like, oh, it leads into Owari second season. When has this series ever been a chronological thing? It doesn't matter. There's also some stuff that happens late in Owari first season that kind of explains a little bit of the reasoning behind the ending of Koyomi Monogatari. Then you kind of understand that going into second season. But when you do it the other way around, it just gives this like really vague, cryptic mystery in Owari first, then you get to Koyomi Monogatari. You might have honestly forgot about what happened there by that point. Even if you didn't, it's just kind of like the same, I feel. But it's less interesting. Just watch Koyomi before Owari overall. Anyway, uh, Koyomi Monogatari, it's probably the worst Monogatari, but it's still interesting, and I would still say overall it's probably not the worst arc. If we're just counting it as like one arc, it's not the worst arc. I'd say Nautico Snake's worse. Maybe Tsubasa Family could be. I'd still put Tsubasa Family above it, but still. I don't think anything else I would say is like worse than this. It's not even bad either. It's just like trying to think of what's like the worst one to go through. It's not an easy question because like nothing here is like actually bad. Is there anything else that I would say is even like comparable? Not really. I have a tier list of arcs. Let me check if I put anything else down there, like near it. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess I also had like Hitagi Crab, Mai Mai, and Tsukiki Phoenix a bit lower, but like they're not that low either. They're just like the closest you can really get, and even then, like Tsukiki Phoenix, it's like kind of like split in some ways, but it's like still really really good, I would say, and it also doesn't really overstay its welcome at all. So wouldn't say it's better than that. And then Hitagi Crab and Maya Mai are like they're solid arcs, and I'd say that they're also again they're just shorter, just easier to digest. They're interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't put those below any of the Koyomi Monogatari arcs either. Okay, anyway. Then we move into Owari Monogatari. I can't talk. The problem is I can never talk, but then you have like these names, which are like kind of complicated to say. It's not a good mix. Anyway, the first arc in this is well, I guess the whole first season's like it's really really good. First arc is Ogi Formula. It finally gets us some more context to Ogi. I mean, they've just been around for a while, just kind of doing things, and it's like, who is this? And you kind of get a little bit more on them, and it's like, okay, they're something for sure. And also sets up Sodachi, which is cool, because then you get into Sodachi Riddle and Sodachi Lost, which are kind of like back-to-back arcs that are probably could have just been one big arc, honestly, but still really really interesting arcs. I know some people complain about like some of the mystery things, and it's like, okay, listen, it's not actually that unrealistic when you really think about it. Like, I mean, I can understand some people taking certain issues with it, but like I don't like some of the arguments. Again, I might just make a video on this at some point. We'll see. I feel like there's just so many things you could talk about with Monogatari, which I like. 'Cause I like talking about things for no reason. But yeah, these two arcs. I mean, like the whole Sodachi stuff is just really really good, and Ogi as a character is just great as well, and they're a big part of these arcs. And then after that, you get to Shinobu Male, which is kind of like this missing piece of context, which is also why again I recommend Koyomi Monogatari earlier because This gives us some context to stuff that happened a while ago, and also kind of gives that final piece to where you can kind of better understand the ending of Koyami Monogatari. And then that would lead into Owari second. Shinobu Mail itself, though, is really good. I like the theme and idea here. Then Owari Monogatari second season, Maoi Hell, kind of a setup arc, but also really cool. Just like a lot of the conversations that are had here, and gives some interesting reveals. Again, it's a setup arc, but still. Then Hitagi Rendezvous is pretty chill, just kind of like the calm before the storm. But again, gives us some more setup, which is great. Then you get Ogi Dark, which is the final arc of Owari Monogatari as a whole. And this arc is just great. Just all the way, like all in all, it is great. It's probably like the second best arc behind Hitagi End. Then we have kind of like a bonus arc, which is Zoku Owari Monogatari with Koyami Reverse, and this arc is weird because I feel like part of it is actually important because it's like, oh, well, you know, I mean, like, because of where he is in the story, I mean, it's like after high school, but before he knows if he's into college, so it's kind of like a weird area where he's like doesn't know what's going on yet, and so I feel like the kind of message here and what it's about makes a lot of sense, and I like it. But I almost feel like it's too long because like there's also just some stuff here that really makes it feel like a kind of just an extra arc that wasn't entirely necessary. It's like 80% of it I like and I think it was important, but 20% is just like, why is this here? If this was like four, because it's 6 episodes, if it was like 4 episodes and like some of that stuff was cut down, is more just about like kind of this like self reflection. I think it could have been really good and felt like a proper end to final season, but I think it kind of wasn't in a sense. Yeah, still think it's a really good arc overall. Like, I definitely enjoyed it, but like yeah, it's like following up Ogi Dark to finish off final season. I don't know about that. Anyway, I think those are my thoughts. I'll actually read out my tier list here. So I'm just gonna go worst to best, including like by each tier. So first up, D tier, Nautico Snake, and then all the Koyami Monogatari arcs. I just have them all. It's like a like an anthology just there. C tier, again lowest highest. We have Tsubasa Family, Hitaki Crab, Mai, and Tsukihi Phoenix. B tier, Tsubasa Cat, Surga Monkey, Koyami Reverse, Karen B, Surga Devil, Mayo Jiangshi, and Hitagi Rendezvous. A tier, Yotsuki Doll, Shinobu Time, Shinobu Mail, Koyami Vamp, Mayo Hell, Ogi Formula, Sodachi Riddle, Sodachi Lost, and then S tier, Nanako Medusa, Tsubasa Tiger, Ogi Dark, and Hitagi End. So that's my whole tier list. Also, those tiers were like relative, so basically, I still didn't feel right having an E or F tier, so I just stopped at D, but I will say, if these arcs were not relative to itself and were just like an overall anime thing, every S tier arc would still be S tier, but every A tier arc would also be S tier. I think S and A tier arcs are just S tier arcs in anime overall. The B and C tier arcs would be A tier. Like, like all of Monogatari is just really good. The two D tier arcs would be like B tier, like probably a high B tier, which is like still like crazy. Because like, even though Nautico Snake is like fairly standard, it's still like Monogatari. It's still like interesting. So, yeah. Yeah, those are my thoughts on Monogatari. Will I make videos on Monogatari? I kind of want to. That might be a good way to start making some stuff on anime or something. I'll start with a watch order and see how that goes. We'll see. And I have a lot to say about Monogatari. There's just a lot of dialogue in the show, a lot of things to think about, and also, again, just really good. Also, yeah, July 6th, we have Off and Monster season starting up, which is very exciting because that has like 10 novels in it. So that'll be fairly long. Yeah, that'll be a good time, honestly. Very much looking forward to that. I won't be watching it as it airs, but I also will kind of be. So basically, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait until a novel is finished, and then I'll watch it. So, like, the first one is Oroka Monogatari, which has 3 arcs. I won't go through all the names. Why can't I talk? I won't go through all the names. Actually, yeah, I can't talk, so maybe it's probably best I don't try and stutter my way through all of them. I can go through like the Monogatari names, which is probably not a good idea, but whatever. So for off season, yeah. First up is Oroka Monogatari. Once all of those arcs are done, I'm going to watch all of it, like which will be, I don't know, probably somewhere between like so like about 6 episodes, I guess, give or take a couple maybe, but I don't know. Probably somewhere around there. Um, so once that's done, I'll watch it, and then the rest of off season we got Waza Monogatari, Nade Monogatari, and Musubi Monogatari. So just 4 watch sessions for all of off season, probably about a month apart each. And then we got Monster Season. There's 6 novels here. Well, there's 5 Monogataris here, but 6 novels. Because the final one is like a 2-part thing. It's like 2 volumes, which that's happened before. Like Baki Monogatari, Nisei Monogatari, and Owari Monogatari are all multiple volumes. I guess technically Koime Monogatari is as well because the English release was. The original one wasn't though. But yeah, anyway. So for Monster Season, those first 4 watch sessions, you'll have there's Shinobu Monogatari, Yoi Monogatari, Amari Monogatari, and Ogi Monogatari. After that, I'm not sure there, because then after that's Shino Monogatari, which is 2 volumes. So I don't know if I'll do a watch session for each volume, or if I'll just wait like 2 months or something and do like a big one. Kind of leaning towards the latter though, because it's kind of meant to be a continuous story, so I might just do that. We'll see. Anyway, I think that's all of the Monogatari stuff I want to talk about. I just like the series a lot and wanted to talk about it, so. Yeah, is that it for this news week? Because I won't be recording till, like, the 9th of June, which is... Actually, is that... How many weeks am I skipping here? Like, 3? Yeah. Oh yeah, I might do one more video. I don't know if it'll be, like, end of May or, like, sometime in June. I might make a balance type Beyblade video, talking about like why I don't like balance types. That could be something I do. Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. That's a tentative one. I'll probably do it at some point like later in the year if I don't do it now, but yeah, we'll see. Kinda want to though. But anyway, I think that's everything for this week. I'm gonna have to talk about Monogatari, my video schedule. We had like the leaks, well, that were barely leaks, and then we got the actual reveals for the Beyblade products. Yeah, I think that's everything for this week, so I can probably shut up now. That was like a half hour talking about an anime. Even then, I was being very vague the entire time and really not getting into anything because I don't want to spoil anything in this random video. It's not about Monogatari. I'd save that for an actual Monogatari video, which I could make about 50 of them, if not more, if I really wanted to. I could probably have like an entire Monogatari channel if I really wanted to do that. There's so much to talk about with that show. Like you can make it like a long video on like every single character, every single like arc, not just like series. No, every single arc. And then there's probably a lot more you could do, like way more. There's a lot of implications. There's probably certain locations, weapons you can get into. You could do a lot. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna shut up now. So yeah. That's all for Weekly Delays. Again, I will be back in June for, I believe it's the 9th through the 15th for the June news week. So, yeah, anyway. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.